Yeah.
For sure. I get that. Yeah, but I've been seeing people.
Grandma didn't have cable.
Nah, hey, bro, I'm with it. We watched it all every Saturday.
That's all we had was
So what are you doing Saturday? Watching.
What else is there? Is there something else to do on Saturday?
Wait, there's other things to get done on Saturday? I thought after 7, after 6, whatever time it started. Bro, that program ran for like 4
hours, bro.
Gee, 4 hours.
We watched
it was like a variety
hour.
show in Spanish.
It was the best variety show in Spanish.
Bro,
they had a Goya commercial in the middle of it.
Oh my God, I know what that was.
Yeah, bro, come on,
absolutely.
Fam. You've been around enough,
bro. Channel 66.
Yes, G.
Come on, G. On Saturday nights,
Don Francisco, my boy.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
I know what's
up. And Chacal, bro, all that. All of us cracking up at the crib for some reason.
I didn't necessarily watch it all the way.
No,
through.
but
I knew what it was.
When my mom told me, she's like, hey, he's not Latino. I was like, what? She's like, he's Jewish. I was like, wow, how? He just speaks fluently, bro. It's his show. He's got it. I was like, what? I could not believe that.
Bro, my man's the whole show was
impressive. I was like, wow.
And it's just everything. From the product placement, the marketing, and throughout the show. Imagine how much money they made,
bro. The Goya commercial every episode.
But I'm saying they banked because it was like the show itself, and then obviously there's artists that would come perform and all this other stuff. But then like the infomercials in between of products, it's like you didn't think about it at the time, but bro, they must have been caking. That's why they could do 4 hours of. Because they could pay for it.
It was a live commercial.
Yeah, G.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You don't think about that at the time, but now
that makes sense. Because
I just made it sense to myself. Yo, that's the reason
it did feel like every time I scrolled past that,
it was on. Like, it's still on. Yeah. It's the rerun.
But I remember
the same one.
Like,
it was a whole thing, bro.
That's wild.
And then there was Siempre en Domingo. That was the Sunday morning joint. You know what I mean? But Siempre en Domingo. No, they just had artists come out and sing. It was music artists. This other dude, but that was another joint. As if he was extra Mexican, probably. But yeah, good times. So what's up, bro? What you been up to? Everything been good? You been all right?
I've been interviewing new young talent, new engineers.
Oh, nice.
That's been cool. I'm gonna start going to the schools again too.
That's awesome, bro.
Reaching out that way. But yeah, I've just been focused on that. And that's it.
Good stuff, man. How's the search going with the engineers?
Good. I mean, I found the guy I interviewed today is, oh my God, he was more than an engineer. When you find that engineer that does full production but has vision for artists, those people are so interesting to talk to.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. Myself, I've been good. Been actually kicking it here with the homie Scendsei these last couple days. We got some things coming up with workshops through Beats and Bars, so we're just prepping for that for next week. We wanted to do something during the spring break for the shorties, so we're going to do something. So yeah, man, prepping for that. That's been fun. And then prior to that, like I said, we went to the space to check it out.
No, that sounds exciting. You guys finding a space for that, a home?
Yeah, man, because again, it's when we did it was, and I think Sam could back that up. It was just, it's a very rewarding experience overall.
Yeah.
And it's needed, man. More, and it exists. I'm not saying there's not other things out there like it and similar and whatever, but I know at the time when we did it, it made an impact here in the city, at least for the shorties that we were working with. And then I think that the idea is just now kind of manifesting into other things, but I just told them we had to do it. Like, out of all the things I've done, that's been like the thing that keeps calling me back in the sense where like, yo, that was the best thing that you've ever done. Like the most rewarding, fulfilling part of my life. Like,
I love watching that because it's, as a kid growing up, it's an outlet that I was looking for that I couldn't find.
Yeah.
So it's really important. For
me, and I think one of the reasons why I was good with doing it when the opportunity came to me was because as a shorty, I would go to Bate Urbano in Humboldt Park.
So I wish I knew about that when I was younger.
Bro.
And I didn't.
Bate was...
And everyone talks about that.
Bro, Bate was special.
Yeah.
For me, now looking back at it as a shorty, I was like, yo, like, I gave me a spot every Friday to go try out the rap that I wrote during the week.
Shout out to DJ Rec and DJ Ozone.
Yep, exactly. The homie Mike.
Yeah.
The homie Mike Reyes and Mike Rodriguez, all the homies that held that spot down, man, and many other people that we're not naming. But yeah, those homies came from all that. And for me, again, as a shorty, at the time, I don't know, I was 16, 17, just being able to go somewhere and be like, there's some people there that are willing to listen to what I just wrote, this rap or whatever. And then the energy that I would get every time I would go, it would motivate me to go back and do some more because it was like, oh, you kind of got something.
Yeah. People
are rocking with you. And it was in the hood, bro. It was in the community. So it was like, it even meant more because it was like, it was all your own people validating you. It wasn't like, I had done other little coffee shops and open mics and here and there, but it was like sometimes in not, in other spaces that it felt like home there. I was born in Humboldt Park. I grew up right there. I was born in Norwegian, so I was born in Humboldt Park. So just going back to those roots, it always felt good to be like, yo. And so just having those type of spaces as a kid, and like, it always motivated me to be like, yo, that's something I want to do. But I always felt I needed to like get to this high level in music and rap or whatever to be able to give back. Yeah. And then when I realized that I was able to do it at the level that I was, and it was just as impactful, like them shorties didn't care. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then, yeah, man, it's been a really good thing. So I'm just happy to start bringing it back. And so that's been the focus these last couple of days, bro.
I know. When I saw that flyer, I was super excited. Yeah. Also, Scendsei's been helping me too the last couple of days. I forgot to say that. Yeah, man. With the radio stream I'm about to start. So thank you for that, because
Scendsei a homie, bro.
I was struggling with that.
We're getting with space that we were meeting with earlier. I was like, I don't know, we're chopping it up about all this. And I was like, I've just been blessed to have a homie like Sen to like go with every crazy idea that I have to be like, yo, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. Because it takes people like that in your corner. You don't find people like that in your corner.
Nah, it takes a village. And when I asked Sen, he didn't even like, he was like, yeah. I was like, oh shit. He said, yeah, right away.
Yeah, nah, G. But
like, it excited me about both of y'all. I was just like, wow. It's just like, there's no pushback. It's just like, let's go do that shit.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. This is what we're here to do. Yeah. We don't, neither of us stop. You know what I mean? Yeah, we take time to ourselves, but I mean, for myself, I very seldomly, I'm up late. I try to be up early.
Yep, same.
When you love something, you just do it. You know? Yeah. Like there's, I don't necessarily think too much. Yeah. And fun things are presented to me and through cool people. Like I always say, I just want to do cool shit with cool people. So yeah, I'm there, and you said it best, man. Fulfillment with the mentorship. It's huge, man. Mm-hmm. It's huge.
For sure, man. And with that being said, so that's all. Anything fun going on these last couple of days? You went to eat anywhere that was kind of decent, or chop it up with someone you hadn't talked to in a while, or?
I talked to my boy Dre, Astonish.
Yeah, what's up? What up,
and
man?
I thought it was gonna be like a 5-minute convo.
Nah, fam.
That shit was like a 5-hour conversation.
Word.
Yeah. He covered everything in life.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I was like, we covered everything. I was like, hey. Yeah, he saw the first episode and he was just like, what's up? And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know it was gonna go that deep. But it did. We covered like the history of his whole entire career. We talked about Scheme's career. We talked about all types of shit. I was just like, his kid. I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, awesome, we're dads now. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful. That's dope.
Where is it? Oh wow. Oh wow, shit's fucking up.
All right, you good?
Shout out to episode 3.
Episode 3. We're supposed to be like on the upcline, guys. Now.
I know. I was just like, this
no, we're good. We're gonna get it together, guys. We promise you. But I think ultimately, besides here to give out game, we're here to have a good time too and just chop it up. I myself, let's see. Anyone I talked to recently? Not necessarily that. The most exciting thing I did this week was I went to my daughter's play. She did three shows on Sunday, so that was dope. Just to see her doing.
She did 3.
Yeah, because they had to do 3 performances.
Damn.
Yeah, hour performances, bro.
Gee,
so they did like a 2 to 3. Then they did a half hour or something off, and then they did the whatever. And I was there me and my wife were there for all 3 shows. The other families, I gotta see. I see y'all out there. They be taking turns.
Wow. But you stayed for all 3?
Mom shows up for first show. Pop show up for second show.
Grandpa.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I see y'all here.
Grandma picks them all up.
Fan. They said we were the most dedicated fans. You know what I mean? The teacher. I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? I came for all 3 shows.
Man, you did your thing, Jim.
But I took breaks in between. You know what I mean? Like I would step outside. You know what I mean?
I know this
my
part.
Crib was my crib was 5 minutes. No, they had like a 30-minute intermission or whatever. So I jet to the crib right quick, come back.
Oh my God.
But no, it was fly. It was dope just to see my daughter.
How was she after that entire day? Like,
she was sore. She kept telling us her body was sore. She thought my body sore. I was like, yeah, baby, but that's what it is. I'm like, and then the next day she had theater class again.
Damn.
Yeah, so she was back at it, no complaint, and that's what I love about it. Like,
that's
and
amazing.
that's again when I say if you love something, if you just like Sen said, if you're just there. She doesn't. Not once does she tell us I don't want to go to class. Not once does she like. She has a full schedule. Like she's busier than me sometimes, and I'm just like, but she likes it, and it's like, all right, well, hey man, I'm not gonna not push you. Or, yeah. So yeah, so that was really dope. I did that over the weekend. Juan, what's up, bro? Juan's gonna be the fourth mic.
Right.
Keep talking about expanding and look at episode 3. Now we got an extra person.
Exactly.
Episode
4. Every episode we're adding a person.
We're gonna get that Joe Budden 12-person lineup.
Every episode we adding a person. It might be you.
Dirty dozen.
Hey, yo, tag yourself in the video. It might be you. Yo, jump in, fam.
You're next.
You're next.
Sit down.
Nah. We'll figure it out. We're going to figure this formula. We're going to figure what's right. All right. So, not the series is out. We're going to talk about some things as far as the main topics for today are just kind of more so relating with some of the work that we do. I think we've covered some ground, but it is called Giving Out Game. So one of the things we want to do is, just provide some insight to artists and some advice if they want to take it or not. That's completely up to them. But just some things from our perspective that we think might be useful, right? And one of the things we want to kind of discuss today is this overall idea of how artists can connect with fans, right? And just how to build a fan base, right? And the beauty of it is that there's not one right answer for this.
No.
And not everyone, and really no one has the right answer. And I think that's what we mentioned it before, but the playing field is level. And so I think that artists need to take advantage of that right now, but understand that, it is important to build your fan base and it is important to connect with them.
Oh, yeah. I think, when you're doing rollouts, marketing they're like educated guesses, right? But consistency always beats a lack of. Mm-hmm. So. For
sure. So I guess one of the things that we said, right, is that we feel artists sometimes could come off as they're trying to be a little too cool, right? Mm-hmm. Or a little conservative with their promotion of their project, or feel they don't want to overshare, right? What do you think about that, bro?
Well, it's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Well, tell us why.
I mean, look, we're working with artists that are from the ground up, right? Mm-hmm. So we're building this new platform for them. And they put out this record, and it's like, all right, cool. I shared one post. I was like, bro, nobody knows you. No one's waiting for this music. Mm-hmm. The only way to create some type of ramp up is through your social media. You got to tell your own narrative. So when they feel too cool to do that, we literally have no other way mm-hmm. of really introducing this music into the world. It's got to be them. And we don't live in the blog realm anymore. It's really social media. I mean, we have A&Rs literally watching TikToks every day, trying to see who's the next viral person. So if we're not utilizing those tools ourselves, how are we going to be found? Yeah,
for sure. And I think it's just more so like artists getting outside of their head a little bit, where they feel like, just one post is going to get everyone, like whatever amount of followers they have, that everyone's going to see it. So more than likely, it's going to be a minority that's going to see that one post, first of all. And then just second of all, it's, if you're not excited about your release, if you're not talking about it, if you're not just like, then why should I be excited about it? Why should I go out of my way, out of my day, when one, I already have so many things going on, let's say, in my life. And then when it comes to music, part of my life, I have so many options. Yeah. So then it's like two barriers you have to break. You have to break the noise through their life, and then the noise through like your sector, which is music, right? Yeah. And so I feel like, if you're not excited, if you're not gung-ho about your release, if then the fans.
I mean, in a saturated market, how are you supposed to connect if you're not putting out your narrative?
For sure. And then so what do you think when they also say, well, because they don't want to overshare, they don't want to be, what is oversharing? What's too much?
Honestly, it's hard.
So one post is too little.
It's hard to gauge, right? Because like you start reading the algorithms and they're telling you like, hey, we want you to post 6 times a day mm-hmm. to even engage the algorithm. And these guys are struggling doing 3 posts a week.
For sure.
So it's like, I don't think it's ever too much. I think if we keep worrying about like counts, mm-hmm. then that starts you can't let like counts hurt your feelings. Is the point.
Yeah.
You have to keep posting until something works.
For sure. Now, I think one of the things that comes with that, right, where we think, they might think it's too cool, and right. So, and unfortunately, sometimes it comes at the wrong time, because a lot of times that happens after the release, right? I think the creative part, a lot of artists show up. It might be the favorite part of the process sometimes. But when it comes to, okay, cool, we put all this work into this single or into this album or whatever the case may be, week of release comes out and it's really hard to just even find them sometimes.
Yeah.
Or to get them to, and I get it. Sometimes I feel like they think it's a sense of relief. Like, yo, the project's out in the world. I could kind of like relax for a little bit, right? Or I don't know what that mindset is necessarily, but they feel like, I got to get some time to kind of reset. But it's just like, now is kind of where the work begins, because all this work that you have been doing, now it's time to show. If you're choosing as an artist to now put it out, now you're choosing to showcase it to the world. It kind of goes against it when you're not putting any effort into.
Yeah. And I think being creative on your socials should be a part of the fun part. Like, how do you give your music more life? How do you create a community around that record?
So, okay. And then let's say for the artist who isn't necessarily the most social person, right? What advice do we have for someone like that who doesn't want to, be in, want to do every trend that's on TikTok, that doesn't want to do, like, what's the alternative to something
I don't know about every trend, but if you don't learn how to become vulnerable within your own social media in some way, because...
And what does that mean, though?
Vulnerable meaning, like, these people want to connect with who you really are. So, like, yeah, you don't want to do that bullshit trend on TikTok. Well, then show them who you really are. Like, whether that's you doing a live and expressing why you write or how you fell in love with music in the first place, or if it's doing an acoustic version of your record, that there's vulnerability in that, because that could be a live performance. Like, find a way to be real on these platforms. It doesn't have to be all the bullshit. But if you're one that is able to do try all the trends, because you could be the exception to the rule, and something like that could go viral. For
sure. Cool, man. That's dope. I agree. I do think that there could be a happy medium between, making sure that your socials are active and all that, but also not having to feed to the bullshit, like you said.
Yeah.
Right? And finding something. I have a good example. I have a homie by the name of Woody who manages an artist, and he was from another country, and broke him because of how creative he was with his content, and how good the music was, obviously. But there is this organic growth of fans, and they've been able now to get this person signed. They've been able to get this person just sold out their first tour, and it's just, again, it's amazing to see when it works and it comes from an honest place. And so that just reminds me that it could be done, but there has to be a couple of factors that come into play, right? It's obviously the music has to be good, right? The product has to be good. And then I think, again, it's like you said, it's finding what's real to you and then like connecting that with the artist, right?
Yeah.
Bro, before I came here, so it was like, I don't know, at some point in the middle of my day, I get a call from my mom, right? And she said, "Mijo, ¿cómo estás?" And I was like, "Good, man. What's going on? ¿Qué necesitas?" And she's like, No, we're good. ¿Estás ocupado? And I'm like, "No, I'm good. What's going on?" I'm going into a meeting, but what's going on? She said, "I'm going to make these gorditas today. Come by."
Oh, shit.
Those are the type of calls that I like at 12:30.
What is that?
Gorditas, bro.
Oh, gorditas. Oh, okay. Oh, man.
Right? With the masa.
The real ones. Bro.
And then I got there and with my wife and my daughter, and she had like 5 different type of things that you could put inside of them.
With the filling options?
Yeah, fam. Like chicharrón verde. She had queso con chile. She had carne molida.
I can't eat any of that, but I will look at it so hard. I will look the shit out of all that.
We have veggies too. We threw some cabbage and tomato on them. You could have the bean one.
Oh, hell yeah. You already know how I get down, bro.
You don't do cheese either?
Absolutely.
Oh, then beans and
I'm
cheese
not
all
vegan.
day, my boy. Oh, then you good.
I eat seafood.
Okay, word. Then we in there.
And if there's
we
chicken,
had no fish
I'll
options.
try it once in a
But
great while.
we got you on the beans and cheese.
Yeah. I love it, bro. Especially when it's homemade like that.
So, yeah, that's what I have for dinner. Thank you, Mom.
That sounds amazing.
Wait, do you guys go to Don Anahead's?
You know what? And I was just talking, had that conversation with my mom when we were there. I'm like, yo, because my sister has taken them to that spot. And I think I passed by a spot today when I was driving to that meeting. I told them I think there's a spot that's one like that out there, but I've never been to it. But they said it's fire.
That's like real. It's real gorditas. Yeah. So unless your mom's making them, that's the other spot. Like that's that real shit.
Fam, I didn't get this. You know what I mean? From not eating right.
I dated this girl from Durango for 4 years, and she's like, "The spot's from my hometown." I was just like, "Okay, take me there."
Yeah,
I've been going there since 2009 without her. Obviously, that relationship didn't last so long.
My wife gets down too, so I can't even complain.
Really?
But, huh?
She makes that shit too?
My wife can make anything.
Oh shit.
Yeah, G. My wife.
Now she cook.
My wife is Mexicana. So like her grandma, her mom used to call her in the middle of the day and be like, "Hey, mija, pon el pollo." You know what I mean? "Hey, mija, put the beans." Hey, so she got that. You know what I mean? And she was the only sister out of the family, so no matter what, you know what I mean, she helped out in those ways. But it's good because I like getting down in the kitchen too. But see this. Let me tell you this.
Hey, hold on, hold on. Though, I wanted to ask.
Hey, fam, I don't like that questionable ice he just gave me right now.
He was praising his wife. Let it be known that he also has skills in the kitchen. This is not a one-way street because.
But like,
hold on. We've known each other for 12 years now, I'd say, right? Ish.
My man's either gonna put me on the spot or
praise me. Dog. This is a blessing. One or the other. There have been many.
It's either gonna be Scendsei's first show or last show. What we're about to find out.
No, this guy would come by our sessions at my place and bring some of the most amazing plates, bro. And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, my wife cooked like the guisado, but I made the rice and beans, and everything is."
I don't know about the rice and beans, but yeah, I mean, I'll be getting down.
No, dog.
My wife covers a lot of the bases, but
don't come to my crib without food,
bro.
I just set myself up. I just set myself up.
Don't do it, G.
But my wife be getting down too, so I'm blessed wherever I sit down. Luckily,
man. All right.
Again, that's how I stay in shape. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. But it's like that, bro. But so I ate good today. Thanks to moms and dad. They be.
It's awesome.
And this was the thing though, right? Let me tell you, this was a setup though. Because yesterday I stopped by to see them for a little bit, or the day before. Yes, I don't remember. I was there with my wife and my daughter. I try to take my daughter to see them consistently now, especially because during COVID we felt it, right? I'm like, I always make it a point, but even more so, like, yo. So even if it's a quick little hour here and there, whatever. So we chopped it up, and I opened up the fridge, something for my mom's, and you got masa back there. What you gonna do with that?
He knew what time it was.
I said, and she's like, and because this is the thing, bro, right? Like when I got married, you just move away from the crib, but you don't think about like, yo, I'm not gonna eat mom's cooking no more.
That's a real thing,
right? Like it's not something that you like think about. And then again, I've been blessed that my wife holds it down and I hold it down too. But still, you're like, oh, I haven't ate that thing that my mom made from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. So then sometimes I go to the crib that night, and she tells me some delicious thing they ate like 3 days ago, and I was like, "Fam,
but I missed that shit."
Tell me I missed it.
Y'all not gonna call me?
Did I miss a phone call or?
Bro, I pull up the phone.
I got no missed calls. What's good?
I must have missed something, mama. And but right. So she's like, oh yeah, and then she holds it down. Sometimes she got a little leftovers before that, and then she didn't. So I made a comment. I was like, yo, whenever you make these gorditas, holler at me.
Yeah.
And so then today when I get the call, then I got to hear from my wife because she's like, oh, just because you said it, now she's making you gorditas. I'm like, nah, hold up. The masa was already in the fridge. So this was going down regardless. I just invited myself this time.
So I would have missed this shit again.
Because if not, I was going to hear about it next week and I was going to be...
Like, we had all these gorditas.
Like, yo, they're with all these fillings.
And 5 filling options.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They had options. He's like, I had none. Y'all didn't invite me.
You feed the vegetarians even?
I invited myself this. So I just, my wife tried saying, because my mom was looking out for me, son, mom looking out thing. I said, nah, the masa was there.
I'd be calling my mom and be like, yo, I want this, that, and the third.
Oh, that's love. Yeah, and I mean, I do that like once in a while, like if something like for real, like I know there's only my
or some holiday shit. And I was like, oh, I want your rice. What's good?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll call her out on the holiday. Yo,
yeah.
You know what's up, right?
You know what time it is.
Yeah, I've been blessed. Both mom and dad hold it down. And this is my dad retired some years ago. It's like he's finishing dinner and he's already planning what we cooking tomorrow for breakfast.
Oh no! Like I like that my mom's retired right now too, because she got more time. It's like, what's up, mom?
What's up, man?
What we doing? Also, like I want to learn some shit too. So I've been making her rice and beans and like pork chops and shit. And she's like, I like it. I was like, I know, man.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna eat something that I don't want.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Nah, you got to hold it down. That was the thing. My mom's always made sure, like, you got to learn how to know how to make something. Like, even when I was a shorty, 8, 9, even though I have my sisters in there, she never, like, it was never like, oh, because I had 3 sisters. It was never like, oh, because your sisters are here, they got to, like, tend to you. No.
Yeah, learn. Yeah,
learn.
And I like cooking.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's
Sounds good in the kitchen
it's
too.
like therapeutic.
Yeah,
Shit.
I was supposed to go to culinary school.
I see. Look, so we always said, me
you
and
in trouble too. All right.
Me and Sen, it's the first commercial right here. We start in a sandwich shop one day.
One day.
You
know, we're not ready.
That's another endeavor.
Beats, bars, and sandwiches.
Bro.
Beats, bars, and bread.
And he's handling the marketing. Let's go. But nah, seriously, that's another thing we always say. Yo, and this was when like we were chilling at his crib making music. We were always like, yo, one day we're gonna open a sandwich shop, shoebox. Bro, the other day I don't know where I was driving and I thought about Stoop and the shoebox. I was like, yo, we gotta bring that back sometime.
Calling it the shoebox.
Many music videos, many sessions, many amazing artists have come through there. I learned a lot.
That was Sen's crib that he opened up to us.
Yeah.
To a lot
it was
of
the
us.
music trap house without doing illegal shit.
And sometimes they thought it was a trap house, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Bro,
we have
to tell that story.
Oh, man. Oh, that's great.
So look,
yes,
bro.
Please do.
Right.
Please
So
do.
Should I say the brothers' names? Nah, right?
It doesn't matter. They're homies. We didn't. Nothing foul
There's
happened.
nothing foul, right?
Yeah.
So it's his homie Lorraca.
Okay.
Right. They're from out in the West Coast. Really dope duo, right? Son de Panama, I believe.
I remember you had a record with them.
So I did a remix. I jacked their song and I did a remix at the time. But
still
they
one of my
fuck with
favorite
it.
songs of yours.
But they rock with it. This is again when you jacking someone's song worked out to my benefit because they really.
Hey man, I added another 12 bars on this shit.
Nah, fam, it was 16 and they were fire.
Nah, you gave him a full.
Yeah,
I gave you a full verse.
And it was one of my first Spanish verses.
Oh, okay.
So and they're rocking with it, bro. So I went out to South by Southwest. I don't know if you were with me that year.
Is that 2013?
I'm not sure, but whatever. I connected with them out there. Yeah. I think right. So we connected with them out there. We chopped it up. It was cool. They're like, yo, that they liked the song, and I was like, dope. So when they came out to the city they had a show out here for some nigga company brought
Beauty
them out.
Bar.
Yeah, Beauty Bar. It was Beauty Bar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. They came to the house for that like little after session. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, yo, can we come through? I was like, yeah, so we shoebox, perfect. Let's go. So they pull up this, again, all love to my brothers because they've been nothing but cool. But it was just a funny situation. And so they came through, it was them and their manager and whatever. We're chopping it up in the middle and just us and a couple homies after their show. And the homie,
about 12 of us there.
yeah, the homie, one of the other homies had left a bag of whey protein.
We were going to the gym.
On the table, casually.
Right. In a Ziploc bag.
Ziploc bag.
Makes protein.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So, right. So my brothers, we all chopping it up.
Was it vanilla protein?
Yes.
All right.
So we all chopping it up, right? And then it started feeling a little awkward. A lot of them were texting each other amongst themselves. And I was like, man, they've been really cool. What's going on right now? Right?
Yeah.
And so we start kind of trying to figure out what's going on between us, you know what I mean? Me and Sand and whatever. And finally, they were respectful enough to like call out the elephant in the room type of thing. They're like, hey, man, we're not in the lie, right? This is how it went down?
Yeah, because at my crib, I always like, if you were at my crib, I already fucked with you.
Yeah.
You had a good vibe. So I never thought about it after you were there.
Right.
If you're in the house, you're at the crib. Your fam, whatever, And that was like one of the only times I ever felt something was off. And I hit him up. Same thing. We were in the kitchen. I'm just like, yo, like, why do I feel this way? They're cool. We've hung out with them. What feels so weird about tonight? And then he approached us and asked straight up. He's just like, yo,
is that what we think it is?
Yeah, because we're like not down with that, but it's cool if you are. But we need to know because if it is, we probably got a dip.
Yeah.
Bro, they thought we was LeBron James.
We thought we were out here trapping.
Oh,
bro, when I say the eruption of laughter that ensued.
And the tension that broke.
Oh my God. People literally fell off chairs.
Yo.
We all fell out of chairs.
Their manager suited up. He's like, fam, I thought they were going to come raid the spot right now, G.
Dude took his tie off. He was like, whoo, he was breathing again, bro.
Yeah, fam.
They were so pressed.
I thought y'all were trying to set us up for something,
and they brought they had dates with them too. So
allegedly, Sen.
Yeah,
they thought that shit was paid in full over there.
Oh yeah, they thought that's how we were making music.
They thought Cam was about to pull up for you.
They thought that's how we were making music.
But that was one of the most hilarious stories. And fam, we were like, nah, bro, it's whey protein.
And then we kicked it for like 5 hours
vanilla,
after that.
G.
I think we recorded after
Taste it, my boy. It's good.
Yeah, no. I put it in water and I drank it. You know,
maybe one of their boys was let down, but I don't know.
He's like, oh man, so someone was
not we was about to. Nah, it's not that kind of party, my boy. Man. Nah, we healthy around here. It's actually,
it's actually we're working out.
So yeah, that was a funny story. I don't even know how we got to that, but that was one of the most hilarious. Wow. And yeah, those brothers stayed cool, and obviously we laughed at that situation. We brought it up recently, but yeah, that was a fun one.
That reminds me of the crib, like when it was Good Life Times. Like we shot so many music videos there, but I was always like, who cares if we're going outside or It didn't, but yeah, the cops were called quite a few times. Like, what are you guys doing? I was like, we're not doing shit. Just shooting a music video.
Nah, we were good. So I mean, we had.
I had to worry about like nosy neighbors.
It was neighbors,
and it wasn't even neighbors. I mean, it's not tenants. Like,
well,
but like
respect to the other tenants
too. Yes, but it was neighbors mostly because like when you see a bunch of my neighborhood went from being just like a straight up Latino neighborhood to like completely gentrified and like businesses everywhere.
And I live in a retirement district.
Yeah. So like, anybody that was moving in was like a 12-monther. They were there for a 1-year lease. They're gone. Yeah. Because they heard it was cool to live over there. Yeah. And, like that was cool. But when you see a bunch of dudes that are hip hop kids hanging out on a stoop, having fun, being loud, it's gonna get misconstrued as look at the gangbangers. Look at the no good doers over there. So like we had a couple instances. Having a good time. Nothing crazy where like people like had to come inside the crib. Can't even drink this like that. But like we had a couple of times people.
Too many Topo Chicos.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, whatever, man. But it's all worth it. It was all worth it.
Yeah, we had a good time. But yeah, that Raka story was shout out to the homies.
I can only imagine if you guys are like, yo, what's happening?
Nah, yeah, because and then they started saying they're like, yo, we started texting each other because we were trying to figure out like, yo, how are we gonna get out here? Because they came in like on some kicking and stuff. So now all of a sudden they're just gonna be like, yo, we got to dip. So they're like, we were just trying to like come up with the story to be like, yo, we gotta go because this ain't what we here for. I was like, nah, you good, like we're good. Yo, that was great. But yeah, that was a great story. But all right, we can get back to some of this stuff, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. So we kind of went over the don't disappear after of the release, right? Yeah. All right, cool. So one of the things, keep going. Norman's keep going. So one of the things we were talking about is like don't disappear after the release. I think is really important, right? That's the most important time for you to put energy into promoting your own product, right? I also always feel like your team can't be more excited than you are about your release. Yeah. And as an artist, don't lose that passion. Don't lose that fun side of making music. Like, I think a lot of times before any outside pressure or anything comes to taint the art or your mind or anything, for the most part, I want to say anyone who chooses to do music or something, it has to come from somewhere of an honest place. I'm not saying everyone, but if you're actually consistent where you actually like pursue it, Yeah. So I just feel like don't lose that factor of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's when it becomes where you're like, oh, you expect something from people. You expect people to support you. You expect people to listen to the moment you drop something, that you expect people to, and it's just like, don't go in with those expectations, like work towards the buildup. And don't think that anyone's going to listen to it. Like, you know, and I think it's equivalent to you like opening a storefront and you not doing no promotion for it. You're not doing it. And you're expecting people to walk into your doors. Like, yeah, maybe someone might stumble in, but like how much more would it have worked if you went around those, I don't know, whatever radius of, blocks around that business and promoted it and put some flyers in people's doors and offered, I don't know, something. That's going to go a lot further. So look at yourself as the same thing as an artist. You are opening your business. You are open for business the moment you release music. Again, we could release it and keep it in our hard drives or listen it to ourselves. That's fine. That's a hobby. That's a hobby. But the moment you've made this conscious decision to be like, yo, I want people to consume my product. Yeah. Now you're choosing to do that and find sustainable ways of doing it.
Yeah. And let's assume this is the artist who doesn't know how to organically work their social media. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have this misconception that you have to wake up every day and make 3 pieces. It's like, no, pick 2 Sundays in a month, create 20 pieces with your team, brainstorm with them, create these pieces, and then create a social media calendar.
Yes.
And then roll out that way, because sure, that's a more militant way at that point, but it's super planned out. And then you might fall into a rhythm where now it becomes more organic for yourself. So if this is the game portion, if you're the person who can't do it organically, pick the 2 Sundays out of the month, create shit with your team, backlog that, create the social media calendar, and then find your rhythm within that.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree, man. Great advice. So then with that being said, right, so not disappearing with the releases, it also matters that the releases stay consistent.
Yes.
Right? Especially for a new artist.
God, that's so important.
I think a lot of times, again, artists, you should be looking for the higher tier artists as your competition. That is not a bad thing. You should strive for that.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean you have to play the same game they're playing right now, right? I think that you have to work yourself up to have that liberty to drop when you want to drop, or to wait long enough between drops and all that. And I think artists need to understand that, when, again, you're starting a business, you have to consistently keep chipping at it. You have to gain that fan base until you then could buy yourself and afford yourself that time to be like, hey, I could step away from it. It's the same thing as a business owner. They're not going on vacation the first couple of weeks that they open that business. It's like, no, fam, I got to build this up until I could say, hey, you know what? I could actually now have an employee run my business for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to step away from this. It's the same mentality. I just think artists don't come with that mentality because, again, art should come from an honest place. But if we're choosing for it to become a business for us and for us to make a living off of this, we have to treat it like that.
Yes.
And it's okay to, like, again, you have to do it for the love. The music should come from a passion. It should come from the love. I'm not going to stray away from that. But it's a beautiful marriage when you're able to do that with the hustle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, like you said, like if it's just for the love, then it's just a hobby. But if you're trying to live off of this, then you have to find that happy medium.
Yeah.
A lot of these artists fall into this thing, like you said, like where they see, oh, so-and-so dropped these 3 records last minute. I was like, no, you fell for that. They've had that shit in the burner for a while. I was like, that is part of their marketing. It's like we have to load the clip. This is the term I like to use, and then create that calendar and move accordingly. And then you can make it look however you want in the marketing. That's up to you.
Exactly, man. So yeah, I think, again, having the consistent releases are important, and just as important as you said is planning for them.
Yes.
And you can make those releases consistent as long as you're planning
Absolutely.
well ahead of time. Again, as consumers, you only see the final product. You only hear the final song. You don't know how many takes it took. You only see the final video. You don't know how long it took to edit or shoot or whatever. So it's like you only see this final product, but how long did it actually take to get to that point? And again, artists, a lot of times, and in general, like, since we don't see that part of the process, we just think there's shortcuts around it. And just the unfortunate reality is, like, yes, you can have a team that could make it a little more seamless for you and make it a little smoother, but it's never quick. Regardless, even if you have a team, it takes planning, and when we see it being executed, that's what it is. We're seeing it being executed.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts. The people who like to do the last minute drop, I mean, it'll show you in the results. They're only getting 100 streams a record, and there's. Yeah,
I am of the belief where, like, you got to feed the streets, in the sense where I do like when, like, Lil Wayne was like flooding. I think obviously it takes a special caliber of artist to be able to do those things.
That's a different.
But I do think that artists shouldn't shy away from that. If you have it in you, because there's artists out here that have that in them, that they could create consistently dope shit, drop it.
Yeah.
Again, we've covered that topic before, but plan around it, but drop it, because those songs are going to get old to you, or you're not going to want to drop them in a year from now. So it's just like, you could build a fan base around those records.
You can. I think for me, there's got to be a happy marriage, right?
Okay.
So, like, if you're going to drop that type of load, then your social media plan has to be married to that. I
agree.
It has to, because if it's the artist that's unknown doing that type of drop, the social media plan has to be spectacular at that point. And also, you might want a little bit of funding for some type of ad work or ad placement on whether it's Meta or Google, like, or a marriage of both. Like, you have to. You gotta pay to play
for sure
in that space. But I think with that, my thing is always like, hey, who's waiting for it? Who's waiting for it? And yes, there's always the exception to the rule, though. But the exception is just that.
Yeah.
So I've always had kind of an issue with, like, being on social media and doing all of this, and, like, especially now, like, just getting into this, releasing as a producer.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel is, like, makes it easier to make your music more attainable? You know, like how do you?
I mean, for a producer, it's so much better.
Or just an artist in general. I'm not just in general. Like from your guys' standpoint, like what?
Just make it accessible. Like make it easy for people to get.
What makes it easy?
You know, having it. I mean, something as simple as having it in your link in bio. I know it's like one of the main. You know, but again, sometimes people are promoting something and you think that it's going to be there, and it's either the previous release still, or it's something completely different, or there's nothing there. Don't expect people to do the work, because it's very easy for them to move on. Bless you, my brother.
Cheers.
Yes.
Salud.
It takes a lot to, you know, just don't make it difficult for people to get to.
Yeah. Also, what I tell like the newcomers, like when it's like the first few records you're dropping, I was like, attack your inner circle. If you're not talking to your aunts, uncles, best friends, college friends, high school, you should make it attainable, super attainable for that immediate circle, because that can create that word of mouth, and that can exponentially, you know,
people overlook that immediate circle.
Bro, that's the most important. If they're not sharing your shit, who is?
But so what advice do you have to get past the mentality of I don't want to bother them? Because
this is where the creative part gets.
Because also, like, you feel sometimes like they're gonna automatically, or you feel like there's some that you don't even want to bother that are in your circle. How do you?
If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
True.
All right, and then becoming creative with your rollout is, why don't you invite 30 of those people to an acoustic setting in the studio or wherever we plan that, and show them like, yo, I'm really about this. And why is that not maybe a 4-hour thing that day where you've done 4 different sets for 30 different people each time? And so 120 of your immediate friends have now seen you share your music. And now they may go back and like tweet this shit or IG this or share that link that you have in your bio. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're so accustomed to like, oh, I'm just going to see who fucks with it. No. When Chance the Rapper came out, he was DMing everyone in his Facebook to listen to 5 Day before 10 Day dropped. Like, and you were doing that shit too.
But see, I was gonna say I did that too,
and it worked.
You know how we would go on Twitter.
It did.
Your shows were packed.
I did, but it did. But this is my thing too. There's also a place as an artist where, especially with your immediate circle, where, like Sen said, you don't want to expect it, but you would hope. Yes.
I know that because I look, I was the hope person too, and then I'd bring it to my. They're like, we didn't know you were doing that shit.
Yeah, I guess, but I guess it was just one of those situations for me where I was like, man, if it's the inner
that's
circle,
the vulnerable part in being an artist.
I guess, yeah,
like
that's real.
You don't want to. It's like shit. That's when you feel it's not real enough for you.
Nah, but see, I guess this with my immediate circle, I think you should want to support it. I could hit up 100 strangers because they don't know me. They have no idea about anything. If you're in my network, you know what I do. This is all I do.
Yeah.
So I just feel like from my immediate network, I want the genuine support. I get what you're saying that it is the first, the first, people around your radar that you could get to the quickest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess somewhere within me, I always felt that support should be genuine, and the people I need to convince.
Did you expect that? Because like you had a successful run, so are you saying that like the late scheme expected that? Because that's different. Because you're like, all right, I'm already 2 hours.
No, I think all the time. I just, even from my family, like even my sisters, my parents, it was just something that I never went out of my way to be like, hey guys, I have a show coming out. You guys want to come out, or I have this coming out. You guys, it just was something that I just felt like that should come from the people. Close to you. I don't know. That was just, and so again, I hustled to everyone outside of my circle because I was shameless with that. And the homie who taught me that was the homie Visual. The homie Visual, I remember when I first met him, we were at shows and his mouthpiece was going.
Oh, Visual hustle.
Yeah. Off a stage, selling CDs. And I see him like coming out. I was like, yo, G, all right, and I'm like, all right. This is going to change. So next time I press my CDs came out here, but as opposed to being the two cool artists where you're sitting back and expecting the people to pull up to you to buy your merch and whatever. No, yo, hey fam. There's people that want to give you props. Sometimes they're shy. Sometimes they don't want to approach you, whatever the case may be. And in those situations, I taught that, hey, if I approach them, if I'm the one initiating the conversation, if I'm initiating the sale, 9 times out of 10, I was making it.
Us being in the digital age, that's our version of doing what you were doing physically.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. That's why I always make it a point. I always tell my artists, I've always told them, sell your music.
Yeah.
That was something I was very adamant in my own career about giving the fans every option. So you come to my site, you could download it for free. You could stream it, and these are all the places where it's at. This is, this is where you could purchase it, whatever the case may be. Hold up. What's going on, guys?
They're grabbing a drink.
Oh, got it.
Y'all hilarious.
Yo, Topo Chico, what up? What up? Holla at us.
sponsor.
Yeah, we need some more. But nah, so it's one of those things where I was like, yo, we need to sell the music, right? I saw it as important. And like I said, I would set it up like that when I would do it. And then I did have times where people would interview. At the time, it wasn't the traditional way of doing things yet. And so they would ask me, like, why are you providing every option? Why are you letting them download it free and buy it from you at the same spot and stream it? I'm like, well, they're going to find it anywhere. Come to me.
And also, you can give them an incentive for buying the if you purchase it, it maybe comes with 2 remixes or a record that don't exist in the free platform.
And you're not going to get the support if you don't give them the option to support you. Right. That's plain as day. If you don't take the time to set up a little site or set up a way for them to send you. Now people, send me, now they Cash App, they do this, and they'll send you the file. There's different ways for you to figure out. But if the consumer wants to support you, they will support you.
Absolutely.
And again, that's also artists stand behind your product. Right. If you feel it's the same thing. Like if you feel proud of what you're doing, then you should be able to put a value and a dollar in that. I think society and the industry has devalued music, but it's on us to bring that value back to it. How you treat it and how you want people to consume it. And I think again, if we don't provide those options though as artists to our fans, they're not going to go out of the way. I think
that shows to us why like vinyl is the most sold medium again now, because people do value music again and they want that physical.
Something tangible.
Yeah, tangibles. Yeah.
Yep. It's tangible.
For sure, man. And so when I would tell my artists, like, yo, let's sell your music. I'm working with younger artists, right? That probably they themselves never went to a store to purchase a CD, never went on iTunes.
Yo, that's crazy. None of them know what Coconuts was or Tower Records, like
Sam Goody. Yeah,
the signature, the signings. They don't know none of that shit.
What other stores? That
was the shit.
I used to love that, man.
Bro, I could spend hours in there. And then, so look, the other day I took my daughter to the one that's right there over by the hip. That the record store that's still there. It's called Rolling Stones. And it was just dope. She ended up getting like some One Direction CDs or something, and then the other day she played them in the CD player. But it was just dope for her to get something. You know what I mean? She was like, she was proud that now she she goes to iTunes, she plays the music, but she was like,
kid reading the liners.
Right. But that's what I told her. I explained to her, look, baby, these are the people who wrote the songs. Just that experience of what it was.
I still love that
this is dope.
So think about this. Like we live in an age now where everything's kind of sped up, right? Back then, everything was really slowed down.
Yeah.
You put on a record and you wait till side A is done.
Yes.
And what are you doing while side A is playing? You're reading those liner notes.
Yes.
You're checking out that artwork with whoever you're there with. You're enjoying. You're fully engaged in that record.
Yeah.
Literal record. You flip it over, it's a thing. Damn, you talked about side A. I can't wait to see what side B brings. Whether you liked it or not, you're listening all the way through. There was no skipping.
Yeah.
There was no fast forward shit because you couldn't break a needle either. Right? So now we're in an age where everything's a swipe.
Yeah.
Everything you just swipe and scroll and scroll and scroll. So these moments of your daughter picking up a One Direction CD and throwing it in a Discman or whatever the shit was, your car, wherever it was, and holding that and like looking at a cover. Like you can't not appreciate that at that moment. So that's where people want vinyl again. Yes, vinyl made a resurgence as being cool and like, a hipster thing or whatever. Shout out to y'all for making it cool again. We appreciate you for the gouging the prices now.
Man, gee.
But also shout out to vinyl shops being able to stay alive because mom and pop shops that really about that life are now getting that love that they should have been getting this whole time. So it's like fashion, like anything else. It comes back full circle because you want something tangible. It's what we talk about with beats and bars. It's what we talk about with everything. Just what are you going to go home with? You know what I mean? Like what can you hold and make? Because everybody wants to make something theirs. Yeah. And it's not necessarily an ego thing. You just want to be proud of something.
This is another way to get creative, right? Do you create that digital liner that's a reel or a TikTok? Like how do you tie in the old with the new and make it interesting, make it cool again? And that's what I'm saying. Like people think that we're out of ideas, but all the old shit comes back around. How do you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. You got to make it yours.
Dude, we're wearing Jenkos again.
Bro, everything, bro. All of that.
Everything's 90s again, bro.
Motherfuckers are wearing the most wide-legged jeans.
Dude, I walked down the street. I feel like I'm in that lane again.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
I love it, and it'll be like that in another 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll just keep flipping and flipping. So
yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
shout out to being old and sounding it. I'm definitely out here showing my age. That's fine.
That's hilarious, G.
Giving out game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Give it. That's why we're here. That's why we in that place to be able to give it. But yeah, I think it's very important for artists to sell your music, sell merch, find ways, because again, if you want to make a sustainable living from this at some point, just like any other business, if you're honestly trying to be an entrepreneur, you have to have something that, and let's be realistic, if streams is not bringing you your money, right, unless you're getting a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to find other ways to make money, and it's okay. Like we also as artists have to stop feeling bad about trying to make money from your music and your art. Like, don't let people make you feel like that. Don't let other people devalue what you do. Like, if, put a price on it. Again, if someone could tape a banana on the wall and call it, what it is and put a price tag on it, it takes a certain amount of whatever to walk away from that and be like, yo, that right there, give me that. It's the same thing. But if you draw this masterpiece and leave it in the alley for free, someone's going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Someone's not. But if you were to put that same masterpiece in a museum, someone would probably buy it too. It's your choice of how you display your music and how you display your art. And so
how serious you take yourself.
Exactly. So that's just that. It's like, be proud of what you're doing and find creative ways of making it happen. And I think overall, with everything we've touched on, it will help build your fan base, right? There is not one right way of doing it. There's not one easy way of doing it, but you have to be, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to stay consistent with it, and you have to learn to pivot when something might not be working. I think that's also very important, because I think people keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, and you have to try something different if that's not working.
Absolutely.
Or you just
have fun doing this shit. Like, stop trying to brainstorm by yourself. Motherfuckers want to sit in a room by themselves and shoot ideas at a wall. I was like, ain't nothing gonna come back to you in that wall.
I am so guilty of that,
bruh. I do it too. I be pissing myself off because then I'll get in front of y'all, right? We're brainstorming now. There's a million ideas going off.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's also very important. I do agree that sometimes as an artist, that took me some time. I think especially in hip hop, because there's always this mentality of like the producer and the rapper, or the rapper alone, or like the producer. And so like you weren't supposed to work with a bunch of different people, right? But again, we've known that some of the best albums in hip hop from long ago to now have been created by multiple people in one room. Yeah. Right. And so once I became a little more knowledgeable about those things and paid attention and whatever, that's when I actually would, and a lot of this happened at Scendsei's house, would start inviting people to the house to get opinions, to get a vibe, and get perspective. Hey, how can I make, so like in this situation, we brought up the homie A earlier. There are certain things that I knew A could do that I couldn't. So I'm going to bring you into how can I make the song better? What's missing? What's there? Yeah. And so A would be like, all right, cool. How about you try this? And 9 times out of 10, he would bring little elements that I wouldn't think of, and that just made my song better. And there were certain things I would bring to Sen. Hey, what do you think about this? And I had people that I picked to do those things, but it is very important to have, those people that you trust, because I agree, as much as we could create on our own and be in our own head, it's just as important to have, those people around you to, you don't need yes men, that's another big thing. Yeah. But you need people to be able to either tell you, yes, that idea is worth you exploring more, or how about we bring that one back and try to, rethink about it a little bit more and what's the best approach in it.
Shout out to the homie Sense, man. He was one of those people for me since day one, man. Like you and Sense Hernandez, bro. They never, you broke me out of my shell, and you always kept it real. So for sure, that you need that. Yes. No yes man, loyalty.
Yeah, Sense definitely not a yes man.
Bro, I just talked to that brother this week, and I'm like, bro, you the biggest a-hole ass.
Yeah. And you would think, but he's not hating though. He'd be like, I just don't fuck with that.
He gives it as true as it is, and that's what. Yeah, it's a good brother. And you need people like that in your corner. You do need people that are just going to be direct with what it is. But yeah, and finding those people around you, is key. So yeah, I don't know how else we could transition from that. We don't really have anything else on the board, so I think
that's a great way to end it, man. Yeah, you know what I mean. Trust in your team, trust in yourself. Yeah. And I think everything will follow after that. You know what I mean?
I feel like, if you don't have all the answers, no idea is a bad idea. We got to try shit. Yeah. To see what works.
I think, again, just staying committed to wanting to grow your fan base, understanding, like Sen said, there's times that it may be difficult for you to do the content or the social media stuff or whatever. It might not be in your personality. That's okay too. Yeah. but finding those creative ways, like you mentioned, of getting your message across, being vulnerable even in that way to let people know, like, hey guys, I'm not used to doing this. I don't necessarily want to do this, but I do want to connect with you.
And I like to hear that versus I just don't want to do it. No, just tell me why you don't want to do it.
That's and real. Then also, again, the bigger is understanding that there's people that are going to listen to you and that are open to your message probably. Yeah. And I think, as long as you come to those terms and, I think that fan base will grow. But, and then also like be specific as to who it is that you want to, who would like your music, right? Like who would connect to this? What age, what person and what part of, are they going through college? Are they still younger kids? Are they, are they older? Are they, what is it? So then you also know who it is that you're speaking to when you're doing this content.
Yeah, you understand your demographic at that point.
And again, sometimes it gets a little technical, but again, I think if it comes from an organic place, you'll see that, that growth, and then hopefully by that time you'll have the team around you to be able to handle the technical side of things.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, that was episode 3. I guess we could do a little more just off camera shit, just to maybe finish off the
my first ever visit to Miami, and it was actually Art Basel, and I was out there for the banana thing, and I saw it. Bro. It was ridiculous. Yeah. It's crazy because I saw like the hype that something like that can create, and how mad people went to try to like see it. And we saw it prior to it being like a thing. We didn't know. We were just passing through a gallery and happened to see it. And man, it was wild, man.
My whole thing with that perception. Is just it's perception. To me, it's the same way as a rapper, right? Like, let's say me I was really hard on myself with my lyrics and my delivery and making sure I was like, whatever, right? I felt under a certain tier of rapping. And then I would hear other people that I thought had a lesser skill, right, whatever, but they were still dropping hits or songs or this or that. And you're just like, man, what? And it's like, bro, it takes a certain amount of confidence for let's say the majority or a lot of people to be like, yo, that's whack. Or obviously it's not whack. Someone's connecting with it, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's energy there. There's
art's subjective.
Yeah, at that point. There's that part. But then I'm also like, on the artist perspective, it took for you to be like, yo, walking out of that booth and being like, yeah, that's the one. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's a simple as rap and you're like, you stand behind it, hey fam, that takes, I felt I had to be, whatever, in my way to validate my skill set. That's their way of doing it. And if you're confident enough to walk away and buy and sell that, it's just like, hey, I gotta give you that respect. Like, yes, it might not fall into the stuff I like. And then I also see it like, hey man, that's another brother who's doing something, who's hopefully feeding his family and, doing some other things with that and investing in other ways.
There's a niche for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And like, I love boom bap still, and guess what? That shit came back hard as fuck. And they're selling hella vinyl and they're touring. Shows. You know what I'm saying? Like Run the Jewels is doing 10th anniversary tour.
Shout
like
out to Griselda.
You know what I'm saying? Like Griselda's
crazy.
And I think that's another just real big lesson for artists. It's like, I understand we want to attain a certain height. And at the end, we all strive for success. What success means could mean different things to everyone. But a lot of people always think it has to be like a certain level. And it's like, fam, you could be well off, you could be on tour, and maybe not everyone's mom or grandma knows who you are. And that's okay.
It is okay, because you can go on tour and sell out every 1,000-person
and then
venue
you could
instead
also,
of a stadium.
And still, yes.
You are
and
living
so like,
off of that.
It's a difference between, again, having a lucrative business and whatever, and then having hype around you and having the fame and all that. Yeah. It's okay. Like you could chase whatever it is that you want, but if at the end of the day you just want to be successful and you want to be able to run a substantial business, there's a lot of people who've proven to us that you could do that without having to be
levels to this shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends, how they take it. But all right, y'all. What's something else on the lighter side?
On the lighter side.
What's on the menu for next week? What's any releases?
I'm waiting for Scheme to send me more shit to distribute.
Word. Hey, so yeah, we got stuff, bro. We just got to get to it.
Also, I love how organized you are.
Oh, word, bro.
I love the spreadsheet. Shit made my life super easy.
Cool, man.
I love that shit. I love how being organized helps the process entirely.
Bro, that's the biggest things that I've learned. That's shout out to my wife. She's always been an operations manager since I met her.
That shit.
And it just showed me like, yo, you just gotta, and that's been things that I've been able to implement in my just overall my businesses, how important it is. Like if you don't have the process down and all that shit goes out the window, bro. Yeah. But So for next week or in this next week, yes, we are planning releases.
You're going into the
Beats
mix
and
phase.
Bars Spring Break Edition.
Yeah, we got the Beats and Bars joint coming out. That's the bigger thing. Just opening that side of things more, doing these workshops, trying to bring it back to communities.
I think I gotta visit that next week.
Yeah, man, I think it's gonna be dope. Yeah. We're excited about that. Other than that, yeah, man, we just stay focused. We're staying busy. How about you, son? You got anything going on? Anything crazy?
Nah, no gigs this weekend.
But we are gonna do the radio stream.
I'll be here though.
Yeah,
and then I'll be.
So
with you.
What's up with that? Talk to me.
Yeah, so we're starting a private stock radio channel with different shows, and the first show is gonna be called Something Slight, led by Tara, who writes for Complex and a ton of other spots.
Yeah,
she's really dope. All women led radio station, and she's gonna be interviewing Classic for the first interview. So
that's dope.
Something really dope, and Sen's showing me a whole new platform to use for that. Because I'm used to the podcast thing, but she wants to stream live, and I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna make it happen.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
This is dope.
So I'll be here Saturday helping set up with that.
Yeah. So Saturday we're gonna do a really cool test run.
Yep. And Tuesday's the run.
Yeah.
So after our thing Tuesday, I'm coming over here.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe Giving Out Game will start going live too on some shit. Like
hey, bro,
it's gonna be great.
Just saying.
Look at that.
Look.
Synergy, my boy.
Wow. Hello.
Guys, come on.
See what happens if you don't talk about it?
Yeah, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's put it out in the universe.
Hello.
Shit. You know, that's the problem I was struggling with the last decade was like, I was keeping these ideas in my head and I was scared to share or ask. And now I'm just like, I'm just going to ask and see what's up.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
Exactly, bro. Closed mouths don't get fed.
See, I got to do the opposite, man. I talk about sauce too much just because I'm like, all right, what's the point of holding it all in? And then I get mad because sometimes I see people running with ideas that I had, and I'm like, oh, well, you kind of...
I just thought the ideas weren't attainable. And I was just like, no, they are. You just got to talk to your friends and see what's up.
Yeah.
I just think with ideas, right, you have to want it.
Yeah.
Like it has to, like it, you have to initiate the execution. You have to see it through. And like, I also, like in those situations, right, where you see someone else run with it, you really can't put any blame to them.
No, not at all.
No, I don't see it, right?
For
but
sure.
Because I've been in those situations too, and I just take it as, all right, cool. One, because I don't see anyone as competition, just because I don't think we should live like that. Like I think we can coincide, right? But also like, it's on me then. I didn't move fast enough to see and they did. So more power to them. You know, what success level we'll each have, to each our own, and we'll see where it takes us. But I just think it's just that sometimes in those situations, we have to initiate the execution. I think a lot of times.
I was going to say, what doesn't say that person wasn't right there with you moving towards that same direction without you even knowing?
Exactly.
And you said one thing that helped it click for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the label thing and the studio thing, but I wanted to do more. And I thought I only had to do it with those people within those. And I was just like, no, you got to collaborate. Once I started stepping outside, I was like, I collaborate with other people. I was like, oh, wow, now I can do more of the ideas in my head. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. Shit's been amazing.
Yeah. And I think, that's where this has came together. And I think, again, it's just one of those things, even ourselves, who we tend to move like that overall. But I think it's even a lesson in here. Like, it took us all these years to finally get to the point where we're like, hey, bro, we've been doing this separately. Why don't we connect and try to see how it works?
Yes.
Something that it was a no-brainer, but again, it took some time for us.
See motherfuckers doing this in New York, Atlanta. And we're like, man, they're moving accordingly. and like, bro, but they're like, and I hate to say it, but like sometimes it'd be huff shit, but they're doing it so much, it's working because they're consistent and they believe in it.
But again, bro, it's subjective.
Right, and that's right.
Yeah, and someone's connecting with it, someone's, and again, it takes a certain thing for you to walk out of it, be like, yo, this is my product and I'm selling it and I'm pushing it. Hey fam, like if you could do that, you could stand behind it. Again, more power to you.
I remember going on YouTube.
I just wish the dope artists did it too.
What the fuck is a podcast? It's like, why am I watching people speak? And then I find myself like, oh shit, but I picked 6 that I'm watching consistently. Like, it's interesting how you can connect like that.
And I think more than anything though, is just people want to consume information, people want to connect, and and I think that these avenues are giving people to do that. I think it's dope, man, because again, I know as a shorty, if I was switching through the radio and I came across talk radio, I was like, fam.
Yeah.
Where the music at?
Yeah, literally.
Right? And so I think that's dope because even me, I mean, I started consuming podcasts some years ago now. I was same thing. I was like, yo, am I the old dude now listening to people talk? But then when I started realizing that a lot of people were doing it, I was like, all right, I feel okay about this.
It's like it's like free game. Like you're just learning all the time. It's like I love this shit.
Yeah. Also, I never like with my dad, I never understood why a musician would want to listen to AM radio on their time off. Think about that.
Juan got a new computer coming.
Just think about that.
Yeah.
Expect the bag.
So yeah, shout out to balance and contrast. You know,
For sure, bro. I agree. Cool, guys. I think we're good.
Yeah, we good.
So episode 3. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all, Navarro,
Jason,
Scendsei.
Peace, y'all.
peace.
Shout out to the team, Norman and Adrian.